Bobi Wine, born Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, is a key figure in Uganda's political landscape due to his multifaceted influence as a musician, activist, and politician. As a former reggae and Afrobeat artist, Bobi Wine's music addresses social issues like poverty, corruption, and injustice, resonating with Uganda's large youth population, often referred to as the ghetto youth. His background from a poor neighborhood makes him relatable, amplifying his influence. In 2017, he founded the People Power movement, which mobilized young Ugandans to demand democratic reforms and challenge President Yoweri Museveni's long-standing rule since 1986. His movement emphasizes grassroots activism and non-violent resistance. Bobi Wine would later form a political party, the National Unity Platform, NUP. As its leader, Bobi Wine became a prominent opposition figure. His 2021 presidential candidacy against Museveni galvanized support despite facing arrests, harassment, and election rigging. Bobi Wine positioned himself as a direct challenge to the ruling National Resistance Movement (NRM). Bobi Wine's defiance against government repression, surviving arrests, torture, and restrictions has made him a symbol of national resistance. His resilience inspires activists and has drawn international attention to Uganda's political struggles. His international recognition, amplified by music and a 2019 documentary, Bobi Wine, the People's President, has spotlighted Uganda's democratic backsliding, pressuring the government and gaining him allies among global human rights advocates. In essence, Bobi Wine's blend of cultural influence, political leadership, and fearless activism has made him a central figure in Uganda's fight for change, particularly among those frustrated with Museveni's prolonged rule. In this exclusive interview, we delve into matters of Uganda as Bobi Wine visits the United States of America, where he participated in his party's significant diaspora convention over the weekend. And so we are joined by Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, also known as Bobi Wine, the prominent opposition leader in Uganda and also the president of the National Unity Platform. Your Excellency Bobi Wine, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning.
Yeah.
Wherever you're watching us from.
And thank you for graciously agreeing to speak with us. My name is Walugembe, and I'll start right away. You are currently in the United States. Obviously, you've been visiting the diaspora. You started your journey in South Africa, and then you went to Canada, and then I think from there you came over here. Yeah. But again, you come at a time when you have a major election back home in Uganda. What's the significance of this visit to all these countries?
Largely to drum up attention and support towards what's going on at home, especially at this critical time. You know, note that it's the only time that Uganda should be attentive, but now Uganda should be very, very attentive on what's going on home, because it is a factor and it is something that we can use to spark change. Ugandans have tried to use all other avenues, but the most important avenue is lining up and voting the regime out. What happens later depends on what we voted. Even when we are to fight for our freedom, we fight for something that we have put there. If we're to fight for our victory, we must earn it. So this period, we want all Ugandans, not just those at home, but in the diaspora, to charge them, knowing that the diaspora has a lot of influence back home in many ways.
Wow, thank you very much. And of course, still on the election, the forthcoming election, you've characterized this as a protest vote. Could you just elaborate what the intentions or the meaning of that campaign name?
Yeah, going into this election is going in it with a protesting population, going in it as a protest. You will recall that after the 2021 election, many people were apathetic Many were even contemplating, boycotting the election, knowing that the regime, unleashes all manner of untold violence and brutality and vulgarizes the election, and even following what the regime did in the recent by-elections in Omoro, in Kayunga, and even in Kawempe, as if to say it loud to all and sundry that regardless of what you vote for, there won't be change. So people were having various thoughts, but we said, now that we are people that believe in non-violence, what other moral way to go and take on the regime than an area where they stand no chance? The regime stand no chance at the ballot box if it's free and fair. So we decided to go into this election in what we call a protest mode, to protest against injustice, to protest first and foremost against the militarization of the electoral process, to protest against the bias of the electoral commission and the legal justice system, to protest against the corruption, all that people can best do it through their vote. The last time they were on the street, you saw how many people the military and police mowed down. However, they many times love to come off as Democrats, especially to the international community. So we decided to take them on a vote, and that's why we codenamed it a protest vote. Not just going to vote, but this protest vote begins way before the election and goes on until way after the election. We start by looking for that vote, charging everybody to pay attention and reminding everybody to, galvanizing them and drumming them up to get involved in looking for this election, sensitizing people, and making sure that even those that have been made to be apathetic are charged up and re-pick interest into the election. And then on the ballot, on the voting day, on the election day, we want many Ugandans to turn up and vote massively. After that, we have guided them to guard that election. And if it's rigged, to fight for it and claim it.
Wow, yeah. Thank you. It must be a lot of work going on, Mr. President.
Of course, it's a lot of work.
And
what has to be done.
So in that area, that's why I want to find out from you what measures your team has made in this protest movement that you just elaborated to guard against electoral rigging. Because in the previous election, 2021, February, the United States, the European Union, and all other countries described the election as a flawed one. But you get into an election under the same supervision of the Electoral Commission, with the same chairperson of the Electoral Commission. What faith do you have that they are going to avoid vote rigging, flawing the whole election process as it was previously? Is there measures under this protest movement that you're putting together, which you just elaborated, that people must have faith this time around that something different is going to happen?
Well, in the 2021 election, the United States election observers were not in Uganda, and neither were the European Union election observers. Courtesy of the regime in Uganda, they were blocked, and therefore there was no observation. Well, we appreciate that the US and the EU issued statements, but we thought and we still think that they can't do more than issue statements. Mm-hmm. I am in the US right now, not just to see Ugandans and drum support from only Ugandans, but also to meet and, call out the authorities here in America to stand by the values that they profess proudly and loudly. And, we are hoping, while we work hard towards the same, that the EU, the US, and all these development partners will be more attentive and will stand on the side of democracy, not just on the side of the regime, that they will respect democracy more than they respect diplomacy. But also, us back in Uganda, we are doing everything possible to organize better, to have better, partners back then in 2021, you know, many things happened a little bit haphazardly. I mean, even our own political party was confirmed, you know, about a month or so towards the general election. We've had 5 years, and I want to believe we are better prepared, and we continue to prepare better.
Actually,
to ensure
both
that we achieve better.
Both the United States and the EU have expressed concerns about human rights abuses at that time. A number of people were arrested. They have expressed democratic backsliding in Uganda under the current rule. For instance, the State Department in 2021, you talked about the elections. I'm reading Uganda election was fundamentally flawed due to irregularities and state repression, including arrests and violence against Bobi Wine and his supporters. At this point in time, you still have your supporters and your people in prisons. And they're continuing to pick up more even at this time. There's been abductions and all that. So in my view, or I know it's a sentiment of everyone, how then do you trust the same police that were used the other time? What measures are in place to protect your teams, to protect the vote, to protect the election?
We don't trust the police. We've never said we trust them. Neither do we trust any institution of government, because they are firmly in the pocket of the dictator. I mean, we have what you described as state capture. That's the situation back home. So we are not going into this with trust in any institution. We are going into this with trust of the people. The same police and military turned, you know, rowdy in the Kawempe by-election. You would see the military beating up people, including journalists. The military rolling up war trucks into polling stations, but the people prevailed. So now this is the people of Uganda fighting back against impunity of the state. We have seen various examples across the world. The current example is in Uganda. Just like that impunity has been defeated elsewhere in the world, it will be defeated in Uganda.
Now that you are in the U.S., do you think that the U.S. has a role in shaping Uganda's democracy?
Absolutely, absolutely. It has always had a role. It continues to have a role.
What do you think? Have you been able to meet some of the major key players, especially in this country, for the time you've been here? And what do they think about the current state of affairs in Uganda?
Well, I wouldn't reveal every meeting that I hold out here, maybe much later, but we are working both overground and underground to ensure that we achieve change in Uganda.
Some critics also have argued that Ugandans need to fight, you know, for their own liberation, not necessarily through foreign influence. In fact, some are against the direct, like foreign intervention in shaping our democracy.
Those are not just critics. I would say those are pragmatists. I agree with them. You know, anybody that says the truth is not a critique. Yes, Ugandans must find their freedom by themselves. Our freedom has never and will never be given to us by any foreigner. And we don't come to America to ask them to help us. No, we ask them to stop being partners in crime. We ask them to stop sponsoring our oppression. We ask them to stop being part of our problem. The U.S. until recently has been giving General Museveni up to $1 billion US. That is the money that is used to oppress our people, to subjugate our people. You know, these are known democracies, world-known democracies. Why would they be seen standing shoulder to shoulder with a known autocrat, a gross human rights violator? So it should not be about diplomacy. It should be about democracy as well. It should be about human rights. Human rights should matter. The same standard of human rights that they observe in America should be observed in Africa. That's all we are saying. We are not asking for any foreigner to help us in Uganda. We're just asking them to stop being part of our problem and sponsoring our problem.
Let's talk about the Uganda you're fighting for in multiple facets. I'll drag around the foreign policy because, you've been traveling and you are here,
Yeah.
foreign land away from homeland. What does the foreign policy you have as the National Unity Platform look like?
Business, not handouts. Cooperation, trade, mutual respect for each other, and of course our sovereignty as an individual. You understand?
Yep.
Observing standards and looking out for our people like America looks out for the Americans back in Uganda. It should not be a collaboration with just heads of states, presidents' clubs. No, it should be about the well-being of our people here in the West, just like they look out and they call us out on the well-being of their people. Back there, the government relationship with the Arab country should be most importantly about the Ugandans and welfare of the Ugandans that are there and how they go around there just like their own citizens go around in our home. I mean, many other countries, the Nigerians move with their heads high in those countries because their governments, have those hard discussions with the countries that host the Nigerians. The same with Kenyans, same with Rwandese. You're not going to find a Kenyan maid or a Rwandese maid or even a Nigerian maid crying that they've removed their kidney or body parts of being abused in an Arab country or any other country. That's what should be with Uganda. It should be about Ugandans. But most importantly, our focus is there in Uganda. We like to talk about a new Uganda as relating to the common Uganda. How much money goes into their pocket and how we can fix that. How easily they get employment. How do they benefit from the wealth of the country, the natural resources, the oil, the gold. How best is that agriculture improved and invested in to ensure that being a Ugandan is being part of that wealth? How is our tax regime benefiting or helping the traders and sustaining the new businesses that are being started? How sustainable and how comfortable are people living with our healthcare system, with our education system? How do we bring back that comfort and relief of a parent educating their child from primary, secondary, and if the child is bright, once they make it to university, fait accompli? How do we ensure we get that? How do we, refurbish our rail system? Why don't we have a standard gauge railway like Kenya and Tanzania? Things like those.
They say that they are constructing that.
I'm sorry?
They say in Uganda, the government says
well, it's
they are
been
building
40 years. Time out. Time out. We have no time. This generation has to move and prepare for the next generation.
Critics also suggest that despite effectively engaging with the Ugandan populace, there's been like a kind of failure to adequately create a message that provide concerns of the international community.
What do you mean? We don't work for the international community. And our message is not for the international community, it's for Ugandans.
I mean, they possess significant interests in terms of security in the region, the Great Lakes. They fund Uganda as a country,
yes.
Which you definitely, 2026, if everything goes well, you will be at the helm of the country. Mm-hmm. So they are definitely major interests. And some people think that the message does not resonate well from the party. I mean, what's your view on that?
I mean, which people? Are you telling me that the people that support General Museveni must be comfortable and must approve of the message that we that are fighting against General Museveni are giving the international community?
Well, let me break it this way. Uganda holds a strategic stability position in the region.
That's right.
And there is support from the international community. I'm asking this because you are not an international tour, and this definitely resonates under the foreign policy.
Right. That's right.
So I'm saying that some people think that the message that you have made as a party does not adequately create or address concerns of the international community, specifically key stakeholders like America, like the EU, who possess those significant interests within the country.
Which people think like that?
Critics.
I mean, some people think I'm too young to be where I am. Other people think I have the wrong background. Other people think I'm the wrong tribe. Name it. So which people? Maybe the people that think that actually don't matter in this our cause. Why? Because the message that we give to whoever cares to listen to us is a message that is first and foremost beneficial to the people of Uganda. And even when we are speaking to the international community, we want to relate with them, presenting them options and alternatives that benefit them, but benefit the people of Uganda first. We want to relate with the international community on our terms, not on their terms. Yes.
Thank you. One more thing, still international. So we have over, I guess, IOM has over 2 million Ugandans in the diaspora, which means we have a significant number of Ugandans spread across the world, not only in the US here,
That's right.
but also elsewhere. You've been there, at least
That's
you've
right.
traveled across the world. And you meet Ugandans, and all those Ugandans actively respond to you. They welcome you in big numbers. They suggest that they need change. What plans do you have as a party for diaspora Ugandans once you hit the big office 2026?
Fix Uganda. Fix Uganda's security, fix Uganda's economy, fix Uganda's infrastructure, and make it admirable for them to return, invest back home, work back home, and build careers back home. We want to make it as attractive in terms of rule of law, in terms of governance, in terms of the economy, and in terms of the infrastructure. The rest will be just details. So many Ugandans have the capacity to come and invest, and we want to make the situation attractive for them to do that.
Any plans that we are able to vote from wherever we are?
I mean, the courts of law resolved that Ugandans, both in prison and in the diaspora, should be able to vote. That is as per 2021. But as you know, there's one thing what the law says and another thing what General Museveni wants. Unfortunately, what the regime wants in Uganda in many ways overrides what the law says. Yeah.
Let's go down to the economy briefly as we wind up. What are your plans in growing Uganda's economy from at least a developing nation to at least a middle class?
Make it inclusive. Make that economy inclusive. Now it's exclusive. You see numbers rising. It does not translate to the people. Make it inclusive. Make all Ugandans participate in it. And the rest will be details.
And so I know that Uganda has resources. We have major players. We have oil, we have gold, we have a number of resources. And there is high corruption that has been labeled across the country. Under your plan as you run as president, how do you hope to tame the corruption which is failing this country?
Be uncompromising. Be uncompromising regardless who it is. The law is clear. Let the law take its course. Make sure everybody is equal before and under the law. We have seen it. You can fail him on many other things, but look at Rwanda and their leader, and now they've dealt with corruption. You can fail him on many other things, but look at what President Traore has done. Even in Uganda, you can fail, on many other things, including human rights. But look how they dealt with corruption. It's just the will of the leader, especially at the top. Yeah.
So do you suggest that the current president does not have the will? There has been quite a number of...
He is corrupt himself. Museveni is corrupt himself. He has made corruption a currency. He has made corruption a hook with which he gets all these other people. Everybody surrounding him has a corruption burden around their neck. And that is like a magic wand. It is like a leash on which he holds them. And this extends even to opposition leaders, so-called opposition leaders, and other leaders. He makes them sure he hooks them with a corruption scandal that keeps them on the leash. In Uganda, it's okay to steal no matter how big an amount of money is, for as long as you're always going to sing praises for the regime. That is what we must stop.
Some government supporters as well think that all political parties, including the National Unity Platform, benefit from the, that kind of status quo. What's your view on that?
They think we work for the regime?
Probably.
Yeah, then let them leave me do their work. Why do they arrest me? They arrest us, they beat us, they torture us. If what we are saying benefits the regime, they should let us. And as a matter of fact, what we're saying and what we're doing is benefiting General Museveni and these people, because we are saving him from an imminent, terrible ending. If only he listens to us and does the right thing and step down peacefully. It's not too late for him. Yeah.
Do you see that happening?
Well, everything is possible. One only needs to do the right thing, either peacefully or forcefully.
Well, we want to thank you so much, Bobi
Thank you
Wine,
very much.
For having allowed or graciously accepted to talk to us. Bobi Wine, do you have any other thing that you would want to let Ugandans know?
Well, I would just want Ugandans to know that it is possible and it will happen in their lifetime. Just hang in there. Don't lose hope. Hope is the most important thing that we must keep alive. These things I'm saying, and I'm not dreaming. If you could see like I see and dream like I dream, you definitely realize that we're going to achieve it. Hang in there. Just make sure you keep on the right side of history, on the right side of morality. We are going to get there. Ugandans will be free soon or later. We pray that it happens soonest. But I know that in our lifetime, we shall see freedom, we shall see liberty, we shall see all of you in the diaspora flocking back. I know many of you left home, not because you want your talents, your smarts, your skills to benefit home, but you are outside Uganda because our country does not provide what you deserve. I want to assure you that in a better governed Uganda, you'll find it more attractive to work from home, near your loved ones, near your people, where there will be less corruption, where everything that you do, you feel proud to contribute to a country that you're going to grow old in. We'll do it, we'll achieve it. Just keep hanging in there. Support us morally, ideologically, financially, and in any way you can. Let's do this together. Don't leave it to us. It's not about me or anybody that I work with. It's about all of us. Uganda belongs to all of us. We are all going to enjoy it, all of us. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, viewers. I have been speaking with the president of the National Unity Platform, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. As the 2026 election cycle approaches back home in Uganda, he expresses optimism regarding the potential outcome compared to the previous election. Of course, as he runs under a new strategy that he has called the protest vote. Like my senior and mentor, the late Shaka Sali, always used to say, let's keep the hope. I am Moses Walugembe. Thanks for watching. This is Campfire TV.
Campfire TV, your #1 station.